Okay, I gotta say I'm pretty excited because this came in the mail today. I've got a used version of Hero Quest here. One of those old board games from the 90s that we loved so well. I love going to Montreal because I usually get to play it with my brother. And I figured, well, look, since we're moving away from Canada and I'm not going to see him much anymore, let's buy one for ourselves to take with us when we go back down under. Initial impressions is really well packed. You can tell there's a lot of spring in there, so he's probably got quite a bit of packing material. So I'm quite confident that the game is going to be in as good shape as it was when it left New Brunswick. So without further ado, let's get her open, shall we? Off the tape here. Really well packed by the looks of it. I'm being very careful, of course, not to cut into the box at all. The old X-Acto knife. No. Alright, looks like he's done it in two pieces. So if you haven't played Hero Quest before, I suggest you look it up. It's very cool, a lot of fun. It's like I don't want to say a dumbed down version of Dungeons and Dragons because it's not really dumbed down, but it's played with dice. You know, I mean, it's like any kid who can play a board game and can roll some dice can have some fun with this game. It's pretty cool, especially if you get some comedians. My cousin, oh my goodness, my cousin Christopher, he's got us all in stitches. He takes about half an hour to take his turn, as he's busy doing dialogue that just has us rolling on the floor. I'm sure it wouldn't be as much entertainment if we usually, you know, I mean, we're usually 4 sheets to the wind by the time we well and truly get into the game. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun for adults. It's, you know, there is a bit of a nostalgia factor to it, and I'm hoping that it's not all nostalgia. I'm hoping that I can get a group of guys that are happy to play it in Australia. We'll see how we go, I guess. Wow, this is really well packed. There's certainly no complaints on the packing job. I'm having a lot of trouble getting into it, which means that I'm sure it's completely intact inside. Lots of good cardboard bits, and the tape is very well done all around the box. Yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out where that keystone is, eh? To get into it. And not cutting my finger, of course. That would suck. Yeah, so I'm fairly excited to have a bit of a play with the kids as well. I've got a daughter, she's 6. My son is only 4, so it's definitely going to be a bit too out there for him to get a handle on, but I bet my daughter could understand it a little bit. My kid loves video games, and you know, I mean, as a parent, I love video games myself. I mean, geez, I was one of those kids who was brought up in the era of the Nintendo Entertainment System, and God, I just could play for hours on end, and you know what, I still can. And I see my kid doing this now, and I'm starting to worry. I'm starting to worry about his development. His hand-eye coordination is going to be fine. But, you know, so I figured let's do something in the real world. You know, I mean, he can help me when it comes to painting the models, putting the characters together, and then, of course, there's the playing the game, which is the whole social aspect of winning and losing, as well as having fun when you're doing a co-op, because that's how this whole game works. It's a co-op. You're all against the dungeon master, as it were. So pretty exciting, and I can't wait to see what shape it's in. Okay. Oh, looks like he sent it in a couple of soda boxes. Soda can marks on the boxes. Okay, so that can go down. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. He's got lots of really good packing material in there, like I said, like I suspected. Get rid of the box. Don't need that anymore. I'll use that for painting the models, so that I don't get any overspray, because you've got to prime these models first with a bit of spray primer, and that can go everywhere, so I'll do that. And then you paint them with acrylics, and then you throw a coat of a light varnish on top after you paint them up with acrylic, Oh, this is fantastic. This is really well packed. I've got to say I'm really happy. Well, I spent a lot of money on it. I'm not going to tell you how much I spent because that would be quite embarrassing. But you'd expect it to be well packed for the price I paid. And it looks great. I'm looking at the back of the board. I cannot wait to get in here and see what I ended up with. He talked about there's a little damage. I mean, it's a used board, so clearly it's not going to be like opening up the one that your mom got from Hudson's Bay Company, or back when it was just called the Bay, or something like that. He said the board is a little warped. That's okay, you know. I mean, I'm sure if I'm able to keep it flat for a while, that it'll come good. And then, you know, nowadays you can go onto the website yeoldinn.com, and old is spelt with an E at the end of old. And you can get tiles and you know, characters and cards and everything galore. And you just put it on some cardstock, and you know, printers these days with the resolution that we've got, you can easily complete your set if there are any pieces that are missing or pieces that are damaged or destroyed or anything like that. And you're going to be quite happy, and it'd be very hard to know the difference. So I'm not worried at all. Okay, about the condition of it. Well, it looks fantastic so far. Just like what I was expecting, in fact, which is how we want it. A bit of tape on some of the pieces of the box, but the box looks like it's in really good shape. Yes, careworn, as it should be, because let's be honest, the game is, oh God, what is it? 30 years old. Looks fantastic inside. Beautiful. And here it says, thank you so much. I have left you positive feedback. If you are satisfied, please do the same for me. Enjoy. Jessica. So not he, she. My apologies. Yeah, the board looks great. The box looks great inside. She's even put bubble packing here. These things, whatever they're called, I think it's called bubble packing, inside to protect the board. What a gem of an eBayer. That's what you want, isn't it? That's precise. Oh, it's bubble pack everywhere. She's awesome. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to just move the board up here, or the box up here, and the bottom box over here, and let's have a look at the board and see how that looks. Now, she said it was warped, so I'm expecting it to be not perfect. It's not bad at all. It's hardly warped at all. It's almost straight. You can see, yeah, there's a little bit sticking up here, and there's, you know, a little bit sticking up here, but you know what? Give that enough time, and I reckon that'll come good. Fantastic. The board is in really good shape. The printing, everything on the front looks great. Can't complain at all. Well done. Beautiful. Okay, step one. That looks good. And now we're going to have a look at the components inside. Here we've got the screen for the wizard, whatever his name is, the bad wizard. There he is. So that's been taped along the seams, but no problem. It still works. Zargon, that's his name. There's that, all looking in very good shape. Can't complain with that at all. I reckon I'll put some weights on that, and that's going to flatten out. And then here we have the quest book. And again, I mean, if your quest book's in bad shape, you can get all this stuff off Ye Olde Inn and just print it off yourself. And, you know, I mean, you get a brand new version of the book. I might actually do that and then I've got my quest book right here. I might keep my quest books inside the box and then just use the ones that I print off the internet because, you know, then you're not getting these any worse than they already are, considering they're already 30 years old, right? So that's good. Okay, let's have a look over here. Look at the components. And my favorite part are the little plastic models, and I'm going to have a lot of fun painting those, I'm sure. She's even got some of the original character sheets in there. How great is that? Not a whole heap, but enough to get us started. And it doesn't matter. Again, you can print off new ones off the internet, and I think that's the way to do it. Okay, so I've got some models here. I've got a bunch of goblins and orcs. They look good. I've got a broken axe, and a broken sword in a little baggie, and I knew that was there. That was indicated in the photographs. And here we've got the armory. Tells you all the things you can buy when you're in between adventures. Right there, very cool. Some more packing material. Yeah, unless there's something really horrible in here that jumps out at me. I mean, look how well that's packed. Look how well that's packed. That's fantastic. Can't complain at all. She's getting massively positive feedback, and I recommend if anybody wants to buy anything from her, I'll put her eBay profile in the comments below. Oh, look at that awesome little handwritten note. Isn't that nice of her? Isn't that great? How polite. And this is what we need more of nowadays, isn't it? That's great. Good show. So here we've got some of the furniture. We got some of the tables. Couple tables. Really well packed. A lot of care went into this. Yeah, I spent a lot of money on it, but a lot of care went into this, and I got value. In my opinion, I'm very happy with how it all turned out so far. Okay, so a couple of tables. I've got, looks like a wardrobe. I got a rat and a skull on top of there. A couple of tables. Does it feel like the Friendly Giant? If you're old enough to remember this game, you're probably old enough to remember the Friendly Giant as well. If you're Canadian. And we've got the throne. That's in good shape. I've got 3 treasure chests. Those are in good shape. Skeleton. You can see none of the models are painted. And that's good, because that allows me to paint them how I want them. Okay, we got a couple skeletons. Zombie. Mummy. More skeletons. Another mummy, another zombie. The kids are going to have so much fun with this, I hope. There's the weapons rack. All in good shape, nothing bent. That's very rare to get something in that good shape at this age. Especially if the game has been played a lot. I mean, if, they picked it up and threw it on a shelf, okay, that I understand. Okay, I've got the fireplace. And, I even have the scales that go on the Necro's desk. I think that goes on the Necromancer's workstation. I got one of the doors that are open. When you go through a door, it opens like that. Here I've got my 4 heroes. The wizard. The wizard man. There he is. Ah! I've got the barbarian. Very cool. Yeah, for geeks. I've got the elf. And lastly, the dwarf. It's dwarves that sleep with bearded women. Okay. Okay, so I've got some more furniture, more monsters here. Make sure all the monsters are in good shape. Wow, the gargoyle is in fantastic shape. Often the wings will break off or the whip, but everything's in great shape. The miniatures are the part that makes the game exciting and fun, right? And the furniture. Having things in 3D. There's Chaos Knight. I've got a few Chaos Knights. There, they're the same. And one more like that. He's the same. And then I've got this guy, and he's like Chaos Wizard type thing. He's got a skull for a face. Let's see if I can show you his face. Get it in focus there, if you can see it. I don't know. But there it is. I think maybe the trick is here. Is that it? To change where the focus is? Anyway, there it is. So very, very happy with the miniatures so far. They're in good shape. Of course, except for the axe and the sword that are broken. But again, like I said, that was indicated in the ad, and that's not a hard job to fix, just a bit of glue. So I forget which ones, these I think are the orcs with the big swords, and these tiny guys with the axes are the goblins. So you got the tiny guy with the axe versus the guy with the sword, orcs and goblins. Anyway, lots of those guys by the looks of them. So we'll have a femur here as well. There's a little bit of stress by the axe. You can see where it's white. So whether that breaks off or not, you know, that's just a question of time. And of course, a little bit of glue, and you're laughing. And now I've got a goblin with a cleaver. Whoop, get my finger out of there, you can see him. And goblin with a sword, or orc with a cleaver, goblin with a sword. Anyway, lots of cool weapons. Morning star. There's a little goblin with a morning star. There's one of the broken ones, so I'll just put him aside, as he'll take a little bit of work. But again, all these guys need to be painted anyway. Goblin with a straight sword. Femir with a battle axe. Okay, that's just like the other one actually. And there's another one. That's the other broken one where the axe is broken off. So again, a little repair, and that'll be as good as gold. Goblins with axes. A few more here. With a scimitar. Goblin. An orc with a morning star. Yeah, and it looks like a goblin with a little short sword, one-handed sword. And an orc with cleaver. And those are all my monsters. Okay, I'll pan that down a bit here so you can, I don't know if I'm going to drop it. I hope it doesn't drop. So you can see a bit more. No, I think that's going to go. Maybe I'll just drop it. Sorry, thought that would happen. Let's just do that. Maybe push it back a bit. You can see it a bit better. Right on the level with all those. There's the two broken guys there with the sword and the axe off on the side. Okay, so a bit more furniture to go. Bit more furniture, and then we'll have a good idea. Oh wow, now this is fantastic. This is the Necromancers or the Wizards spell book. It's like a desk, and most of the ones you find of these, the candles are broken. The candlesticks will be broken right down here. So the fact that those are still in perfect shape, wow, very impressive. Very good. Awesome bit of kit. And it creates the atmosphere of the game, you know, and then, yeah, you can search them and that type of thing. Lots of different fun things you can do when you're playing in the game. Here we've got a torture rack. I always thought that was hilarious. And again, these things usually are broken off on the versions of the game you can find. So the fact that all the furniture is in really good shape is very, very pleasing. Makes me very happy. I've got a couple of bookcases again, and they're like they have the skulls and the rats on top. Just like the desk did or the wardrobe did before. A couple of bookcases. You can search bookcases, and if you're playing Dungeon Master where you make your own rules, which is kind of how we do it, then you know, you can find spell books and whatnot in there. And there we have another desk, like a writing desk, and there's some bottles on that one. And that is where this guy goes. The scales go up there as well. Well, if you're following the instructions to a T, that's where you'd put them. And then last but not least, we have a crypt, a graveyard. Not a graveyard, but a burial tomb, I guess. Sarcophagus? I don't know. You can tell me what you think it's called in the comments below. I seem to remember the second version of Castle Wolfenstein, when we actually had 3D cards and awesome cool stuff in our computers. Again, that's probably about as old as this game. Sometime in the 90s it came out. There were a bunch of them and they had their own name. Okay, so here we've got all of our playing dice. It looks like, and I saw this in the pictures, it looks like I don't have many of these. But again, these things are very easy to print. You just print them on cardstock, maybe glue a couple of pieces of cardstock together and print them out, and then that's all you need. That's how you'd put the walls in the dungeon. I've got all the dice. They're all in good shape. Steps are in good shape. Oh, no, there's lots of little walls in here. So that's just the doubles that there aren't a lot of. And they said there's no stock. There's lots of these, so that's easy to make walls to keep them where you want them in the dungeon. No problem at all. Beautiful. Fantastic. Can't complain. Okay, it looks like we've got some other stuff here that's wrapped up. Doors. Doors, doors, doors. Closed and open doors. You've already seen what an open door looks like. This is what a closed door looks like. And then a hero walks up and says, well, it would depend. If it were me, I'd say, and I open the door. And then the dungeon master would go, like that, boom. Of course, my cousin Chris would kick the door in and he'd make a big show of it and all that fun stuff. and everybody would laugh because we'd be supremely drunk. Okay, last but not least, we have hero cards and the playing cards. And hero cards are right here, so you have one for each of your 4 heroes. So for the dwarf, you have his hero card. And on the back, it's very easy. It tells you all the actions you can perform that will take a turn. So the first one there is attack, cast a spell, search for treasure, search for secret doors, search for traps, and disarm a trap. And that's all there. There's the dwarf card in very good shape. The elf card in very good shape. Barbarian card, same. And of course, the wizard card, same. And last but not least, the last thing to unpack, I've got the deck of cards. And in the deck of cards, there are a whole bunch of different things that happen. So you have air spells, and on the back it tells you how the spell works, etc. Water, earth, fire. And then we have some artifact cards, things you can find while you're out on your adventure. There's a spirit blade, for example. That's an artifact. Or you can make your own up, which we've done as well. My brother has a list of 100 things. You do 100-sided dice, or like 2 10-sided dice to give you between 0 and 100 count, and or 1 and 100. And you can make up your own treasure based on that. Monster cards, it tells you what skills and stats the monsters have. So I've got cards for all the monsters there. Mummies and zombies, etc. Chaos spells. So these are spells that some of the Chaos Knights, probably this guy, can cast on you or different characters. Chaos spells, bad stuff. As you know, a story isn't a story without adversity, is it? I'll put that aside. I've got treasure cards. So there's a treasure card. And over here, it'll tell you what the treasure is. Oh, a gem. Isn't that fancy? You found it in an old boot. You found a gem in an old boot. In the toe of the old boot, it's a small gem worth 35 gold coins. Record the money on your sheet and do not return the card to the deck. Anyhow, so a whole bunch of different treasure cards there. So, man, I have got to say, I'm happy. Very impressed with the condition of especially the furniture, especially the models, with the completeness of the game. A lot of them, on eBay, you look on eBay and guys will be very, or girls in this case, will be very cagey and they won't really show the pictures as well as they're supposed to, and they aren't honest about what shape the game is in. And a lot of honesty here and a lot of care went into packing it. She got her money's worth and so did I think. So all in all, super duper happy. Can't wait to get painting and fixing the models that are broken. There's only 2. And then can't wait to get our first game going. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks for watching. And don't subscribe. I'm not going to do any more videos. All the best.